Greetings to China Exposed News Talk. I'm James J. Tsidkenu. I'd like to thank everybody who's been coming here to this channel from 60 News Talk and have been subscribing to this new channel, which is basically connected with 60 News Talk, but this one is devoted completely to China. There's some situations that have been developing in China, as always. It's actually some development in the U.S. The socialist communist media in the U.S., which hates Donald Trump with a passion, and for the most part hate American values, is basically trying to take a dump on Donald Trump's tariff war against China. So they're using this Alibaba thing to actually spread out a bunch of news, which is all manipulating a whole bunch of, it's just twisted around. It's not the total facts here. Now, the news, if you look at the headlines and you don't read the news story, you'll probably be impressed. Alibaba makes in a one-day sale $30 billion. That's a one-day sell. But this is Alibaba propaganda, along with the U.S. communism media putting this stuff together and getting it out to the public. Now, it is not to say that Alibaba didn't make a $30 billion sales. It's what they're not really telling you, the rest of the story, that the thing with Alibaba is they're down on this sale from 39%. They're all the way down to 27%, and they're in a 10-year low. In the last 10 years, this is like the lowest sale that they had for this. What they're doing, what they have in China is they have a holiday. It's like a Valentine's Day. The students in China made like a holiday for single people. Now, you know, the reason the students made a holiday for single people is because the men can't find no women. Okay, because basically the Chinese government has exterminated millions of baby girls. Okay, and the whole thing of trying to control their population, and now there are millions and millions and millions of Chinese guys, okay, who are, they just don't, they're not going to get a woman. They're never going to get married. I hate to say, but that's the truth. So they're going to have to, you know, play with their egg rolls all day long, I guess. You know, they're in some serious trouble, okay? So the Chinese students made a holiday, okay, a single day's holiday, like a Valentine's Day, and then Alibaba, they made a sale. They made a sale on that day. What happened is, with time, it expanded to a 1 month event. So now it's a 1 month event, and Alibaba sells throughout the entire month. Then I believe the last day, it's on the 11th of November, and this is when they have a 24-hour sale where people buy a whole bunch of stuff. But the thing is, the numbers this year are the worst in the last 10 years. This is the news they don't put out. And the reason the numbers are down, experts will tell you, it has to do directly with Donald Trump's tariff on China that is causing huge problems in China. They don't know what to do, okay, and people are not buying like what they used to buy before. So they're in serious trouble. Alibaba is in serious trouble. I believe also Alibaba is down like 16% for the entire year. They're down. They're losing money. Okay. Now, going to this thing about this propaganda, all right, if the U.S. communist media, that's basically what they use it. Use it to say, oh, look, Donald Trump, he's doing terrible. Look, he cannot fight the Chinese. Look, you know, it's all BS. It's just a propaganda, okay? These companies have big problems, okay? Not only Alibaba, but any company in China has big problems because probably maybe next year around this time, they're going to find warehouses after warehouses stacked to the ceiling with product they cannot get rid of. And if they get rid of the product, they have to sell it under manufacturing costs, which will kill them. It will destroy the manufacturing sector. It will completely demolish it. Already there are talks from different countries around the world that the Chinese are selling in bulk products to them under extreme discount, okay? And the reason this, of course, they're selling it on extreme discount is because they're trying to get as much product out of China. Why is it they want to get so many products out of China? Because Donald Trump has been talking for the last couple of months. He has been talking about putting tariff right across the border. You see, right now the tariff don't apply to all Chinese products, but Donald Trump is talking about applying tariff on all Chinese products coming into the U.S. You see, it's a huge wake-up call to the Chinese. They thought that they could play games with us and do whatever they want, and they thought that if we put tariff on them, nothing was going to happen to China. China was going to be okay. Wrong, China. They got screwed. Okay. As a matter of fact, one of the ministers that worked for the Chinese government who said that nothing was going to affect China, I think he already got canned. I haven't seen him around. I haven't seen some of these guys around. They're beginning to get canned. I think Xi Jinping's days are going to be, I've said it before, I believe his days are going to be numbered, especially when unemployment in China goes up. Who knows by how much percentage, because they already got problem unemployment in China, and their manufacturers will have tons of product they can't get rid of unless they give total discount underneath manufacturing costs, and this is going to demolish the Chinese. They are in serious trouble. The Chinese economics is already in serious trouble as it is. But our socialist communist media, well, no, they twist the whole thing around, make it sound like, look, because Alibaba's got these great numbers, look, the tariff is winning. But they should have actually explained to the public the actual numbers and what's the whole deal with Alibaba, and explain everything the correct way, like I'm explaining it to you, so you understand that Alibaba is losing the war, and that trade war. Those products are not getting into the U.S. like they used to. But yet they sit there and they put smiling Jack Rat, the guy looks like a rat, okay, from the CEO from Alibaba, with a big smile like he just won some giant trophy he just conquered the world. And what they should do is put a picture of him standing in the corner crying like a little girl. Okay, it's what they should do. Okay, this is what they got to do with him. All right. But no, they twist everything around. And then if you're just going through the news in the United States and you see this, you'll see a big title that says that the Chinese in one day alone made $30 billion in sale on Alibaba. And you'll be like, oh, that's impressive. But if you don't read the story, I mean, at least if you read the story, you may get the right story. But most of the stories are not going to be the right stories. Just the propaganda story is what it is. All right? This is why I have to come out here and try to explain to you guys what's really going on. The Chinese, with these tariff war, are in serious trouble. They're talking, all kind of garbage to the U.S. that that the U.S. shouldn't do this to them, and that the whole world's finances are going to collapse, which is all BS. The world's finances, if they collapse, it's not something to do with the U.S. and China. Okay. The only one that's going to have the total collapse of their finances is going to be China. Okay. I don't see what kind of deal that the Chinese can work with the U.S. because the deals that they're talking to the U.S. is something we're not going to accept. We're never going to go back and put that 4% or 2% import tax. We're not going to I don't believe the U.S. is ever going to go back unless the Democratic Party takes it over. And the Chinese buy off all those officials and fill their pockets with tons of money, and then they will go back to giving the Chinese, basically giving the country to China and allowing them to bring in all their stuff basically for free, and we have to pay like 25% tariff to import our stuff into China. Those days of doing that kind of crap, that's pretty much gone if we can continue to have Donald Trump there, and the person coming after him will continue to support those policies. China, I don't think is going to be able to survive that long. They're right now in deep trouble. Next year it's going to be even worse for them, and Alibaba's numbers will even continue to fall even more. What they're also doing is, because they're trying to beat these tariffs coming at possibly in the next month, a couple of months from now, if Donald Trump says, yeah, put the tariff right across the board, put tariff on all their product, then they're in deep trouble. So what they got to do now is they're trying to give as much discounts as they can to retail stores in the United States with a whole bunch of stuff, trying to just get rid of product from China. And they're doing it globally, trying to get rid of as much product. In other words, trying to make as much money as they can before these tariffs come. But they're still losing the war on tariff. They're losing the war on tariff in a major way. And this whole thing about this propaganda they put out, I wish the U.S. communist news was not a communist news and will actually be a news that supports the people of the United States and love our freedom and love the country, and put out the actual story instead of being a mouthpiece, a propaganda mouthpiece for the Chinese, and told the facts on what's behind this. And that way people could understand in the United States, be proud. A lot of those people that don't understand what's going on between the trade wars in the U.S. could be really proud of what our president has done against China. He's really knocked them out almost. He has busted them in the head. Okay, they are in serious trouble. Xi Jinping, for the most part, maybe, he might be out of there. Because if that economy collapses and their unemployment shoots up, okay, in high numbers, double digits, way up there in the high digits, they're going to suffer major problems in China. Major things are going to happen in China, and I think the political structure is going to go bananas there. And Xi Jinping, well, I hate to say it, he's going to be the biggest target of them all. He's in some ways painted that target on himself, because before Donald Trump put tariff on China and before anything happened, he was making himself like he was some kind of a god in China, and he wanted full responsibility of everything in China. So I can see it right now. I can see them knocking on his door. Yo, Xi Jinping, you say you're responsible for everything? Okay, you collapse economy in China, so you're going to have to hang. We're going to have to go and hang you. Bye-bye, Xi Jinping. And this is probably what's going to happen to him. They're probably going to knock on his door one day. They're going to accuse him. This is what's going to probably happen. They're going to knock on his door one day. They're going to accuse him of corruption. They're going to put him through some kind of a kangaroo court. Bing, bam, boom. And they're going to charge him with a whole bunch of corruption and a whole bunch of other stuff. And then they're going to tell him he's going to disappear in one of their jails. And bye-bye, Xi Jinping. This could happen. Because the Chinese don't care. The Chinese Communist Party, this is a tight group, but they will backstab each other as much as they can. And when somebody's brought down the entire country and they notice that their bank account is beginning to get thin, and I'm not talking about they're they're going to become poor, and they just want to continue to receive those billions and billions of dollars from all the Chinese companies, and they're no longer getting it. They're going to go after him. And they're going to say, you're no longer going to be the leader of China, and they're going to jank him out of there. We're going to see I don't know if Xi Jinping is going to make it to next year, to next year around this time. I don't know if he's going to be here next year around November. I don't know if he's still going to be there. If there's a total collapse in China economically, I think the Politburo, the Communist Pig Party in China, will just remove him, and they'll replace him with somebody else and basically take him out of there. Okay, and he's going to be history. Maybe even, like I said, if they don't remove him, just put him to the side, they'll maybe end up charging him with some kind of corruption, some kind of phony baloney charges, and he's going to vanish. Oh, geez, he's just going to have bad health. He'll start getting some kind of bad health where he has to move on with his life. Because this is what they always do. They always make up something and to get rid of the guy. This might be coming down the line. And Donald Trump, all Donald Trump has to do, right now the U.S. is not being affected by Chinese tariff. Not really at all, okay? And some sectors are actually talking, coal is actually talking they're doing better now. And things are improving, okay? And other sectors are also saying things are getting better. And things in the U.S. economically are getting great. Okay, so the U.S. is not suffering from anything having to do with tariff war against the U.S. I mean, against China. All right, so we're doing good. So what Donald Trump has to do now for the next, 24 months, you could say, or more, hopefully he'll get in the second term, just continue the pressure. No need to go rushing to make deals with China. I heard about some kind of a deal having to do with U.S. oil sale to China, having to do that. No need to rush into this. Let their economy collapse. Maybe they'll stop making war weapons, you could say, weapons of mass destruction, making these carriers and a whole bunch of, and controlling these South China Seas or the South Asian Seas involved in it, and maybe they'll start falling back and, go back into the little hole that they came from and stay there, okay? Because Donald Trump could push him in that direction, and they could do it. They could end up in that problem. Here's what it is. The Chinese economy could collapse. It could completely collapse. We don't want to completely collapse the Chinese economy, because you're going to be looking at millions upon millions of starving Chinese, and we don't want to get it that far. Those people have the right to live too. But of course, if the shoe was on the other foot, the Chinese Communist Pig Party will love to see Americans starve to death. If they could do it, they will already have done it to us. Okay? But you know, we have to be humane about the way we deal with things. But we cannot allow China to continue the road they were in with us, trying to demolish the country and continue to fill in the pockets of a bunch of communist, socialist a-holes in the United States. And there's still a lot of stuff that we have to deal with China, especially when it comes to the student visas and China involving our colleges and the amount of money they're putting into colleges and so many institutions, and basically this to conduct their espionage. It's what it is, and get information from us so they can create all type of products and all kind of things in China to compete with us and undermine our country, you know. But going back to this whole thing with Alibaba, the story is not the story. If you look at the headlines on what the U.S. Socialist Communist Press is putting out, it sounds impressive, but if you actually look at the real story behind that, it's not that impressive. And what it shows is Donald Trump's tariff are working against the Chinese, and the Chinese are in serious trouble. If Alibaba, okay, was down, you know, from 39% down to 27%, and this is like in the last 10 years, this is like the worst year that they had. Possibly next year is going to be a lot more. Those numbers will be a lot higher. So we're going to see what happens there. So anyway, I'd like to thank everybody. I'd like to thank everybody that's come here and has subscribe to the channel. If you come from 6CO, please continue to subscribe. I'm still debating if I'm even going to put more stuff in 6CO News having to do with China. I may just leave that for U.S. politics, but U.S. politics does involve some things from China, and I will have to go once in a while and explain some of that stuff on 6CO News Talk. We'll see what it goes, because they basically are killing that channel. And it's not the numbers, the subscription is still there, but if you look at my subscription every day, losing more and more people. It's the complete opposite of what I had 2 years. They basically went after it because they're not happy with my politics having to do with support of Donald Trump, supporting the country, a free country, supporting the economics of the United States, supporting the people, the great people of the U.S. They don't like that. Now, if I was a communist, and if I was a socialist, and if I was a hate monger and a war monger and this kind of person, they would probably would have made my channel #1 on YouTube, and I would have probably been like billions of subscribers. I'm not that kind of person. All right, I'm not going to sell out like that. I'm going to give you the truth on what's going on with a lot of this stuff out here. So we'll see what happens. We'll stay here. We'll continue to put stories on this channel. And I hope you guys can find people to join this channel, pass out the videos, support the channel, thumbs up. Subscription is very important. I need to get 1,000 subscribers, and I need to get 4,000 views in order to monetize this channel. I need your help on this. I need you people, don't just come here, look at the videos, and just don't subscribe. But you continue to come and look at the videos, but you don't subscribe. You know, today I've had, on some of these videos, I've had almost 100 views, and I didn't get that many subscribers. I mean, if I would have had that many viewers and people, why don't you just subscribe? Why don't you just go ahead and subscribe? You know, if you like the channel, because if you don't like the channel, okay, I understand. But if you like the channel, subscribe, you know, and that help out the video, help out the channel to go forward. Well, you guys do what you can. And I appreciate anything you can. Don't worry, I still love you. If you do or don't, you know, it does help me to get monetizing onto the channel. It will help out the channel, and things could even move on better. And we'll be putting up some stories, hopefully, on 6CO News Talk. Some stories over there having to do mostly with the U.S. And of course, there might be some stuff tied with China. But this channel here is going to be dedicated mostly to China's and the Chinese propaganda, the Chinese Communist Pig Party, and what they're doing globally, and the propaganda they put out, and the evil that they're involved in. So anyway, you all have a great one. Have a blessed one. Until next time, bye-bye now.